But regarding the Rabbath technique, a little later I was on the Count Basie Orchestra. We went to Paris, and we were there for 2 weeks, and at the Club Lionel Hampton, and I got brave, and I found Francois Rabbath's phone number, and I called him up and invited him to the gig. So he said, sure, you know.
Wow.
And he said, you want to come over to my house for dinner? And I said, sure. And he was teaching some lessons at that time, and with the permission of the student, I was able to observe. And he had said to me, I see you playing across the strings and stuff. You should really check out some of the things in my technique. And I said, I've had your books for a few years, but I don't know where to start.
Yeah.
You know? So he showed me some of the basis of the pivot, starting with the C major scale at the heel,
Yeah.
with the pivot back and everything closed. And then he showed me the same thing with the thumb on the C on the G string.
Yeah.
And that was how it started for me. I began to see. So regarding what and how to practice, I'm on the road full time. We traveled out of the 52 weeks, we've traveled 45 weeks a year. So my practice was in the room, or after setup, I'd go with the setup crew sometimes and play in the hall, sometimes jam with Dennis McCrell, the wonderful drummer and friend. But anyway, I would practice in my room. But because this stuff was so new and so weird, when I used that technique, I didn't sound very good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I would go to the gig and play my old technique, and then I'd go practice this new stuff. And I know it sounded awful because the people that had a room next to me told me so. But bit by bit, I said, okay, here's how I can negotiate a blues with this new technique. So I go to the gig and I say, okay, first chorus or one of the choruses, I'm going to use this pivot and play it. And like, oh, no, back to the old one. And then eventually it's like, oh, I made it through.
Yeah.
And then at one point, I realized I had done it without planning on doing it. That's when I know it started to happen.
Yeah.
So yes, it taught me the fingerboard in ways that I never dreamed. Because I didn't.